All right, we got a good workout plan for you guys. Hope you brought your strong legs and you know the drill. Let's get this party started. All right. All right. It's always the challenge each week trying to decide what kind of workout we're going to do. So you know the drill. Just get yourself in a nice, easy gear to start off. Easiest gear you got in your small ring. Just get your legs spinning and get a little bit of a warm up. You always know the other drill. Have your fan, your towel, and your full water bottle. Get that water bottle consumed by the end, and that'll make it good for your body and make your coach happy. So tonight, as I said in my email, we're going to do a little bit of climbing. We're going to work kind of on like a progression climb, meaning, you know, when you climb, you start a certain way, and you get to the top, and as you go, things happen along the way. So you want to kind of build that effort and also work on keeping a steady effort as you do it. So that's what this is going to do tonight. It's going to get you to kind of see what might happen as you climb. And we're going to talk a lot about your posture and what happens and how you should be climbing to get a little bit more efficient at it. Working at it on the trainer is a good way because it helps you to focus just on those things that you need to focus on. Sometimes when we're outside, the elements get in the way. It might be too hot, might be windy, could even be raining. You might have had a really hard workout the previous day. You might not have hydrated properly. You skipped lunch and you're riding at 4 o'clock. So all those things play into how you actually react to climbing. Besides, also, maybe not having your hips in the right place. Maybe standing up and being a little bit too far forward. So these are all things that we're gonna see today as we get through this. And just like last week, I don't know, another 2-pager? Crazy. Really crazy. All right, so we're going to start with a little bit of cadence work to get our legs spinning fast, because for most of the bulk of the main set of this workout, you're going to be working in some lower cadences, some bigger gears. And keep in mind that gear suggestions are just that, a suggestion. If what I'm suggesting to you is too hard or too easy, then you have the liberty to shift the gear, but hold the kind of effort I'm asking. And cadence is going to play a lot of role tonight because of this being a climbing workout. So obviously, as we climb, sometimes our cadence gets a little slower. In reality, you want to try to work on a nice solid cadence as you climb. And that's something that's a little easier to manage outside because you can focus on holding that cadence as you climb up that effort. Here, we've got to put some gear to it to make it feel like you're climbing. So we'll stick to this while we're inside. And man, this winter is keeping us cold. That storm over the weekend was good. Got us some nice snow. But the temperatures this week, and then again, more snow on Sunday. Woohoo! So I hope we get some good snow. We can actually go out and use those snowshoes we've been dying to use for the last 5 years. All right, so here's how this is going to go. We're going to do a 5-minute effort. It's going to go 15 seconds at 90, 15 at 100, and then 15 at as high as you can go. I'm sorry, 30 at as high as you can go. We're going to just keep rolling around like that for 5 minutes. I'll guide you through it. You can be in your small ring. You pick the gear that you think you can hold these cadences. Maybe 2 or 3 gears down from where you are right now. So go ahead and find that gear. You're going to be holding it at 90 to start. 3, 2, 1. If you're holding it higher than 90, and it's super easy, you might want to shift to a harder gear. Remember, this is a warm-up, so we want you to feel it. Up to 100. And only to 100. Don't go to 105. Don't go to 110 yet. And as high as you can go. Really spin it. I want you to think about your core, how you're engaging it, so that you're not bouncing. If you're pulling your belly button in, that's right. That's what we want. 3, 2, back to 90. 90, you'll feel easy. Let it just drop there. If you start dropping down past below 90, it's only going to take a little bit of effort to bring it back to 100. This will go fast. All out. All out but controlled. That's the key. Control here. If you feel yourself bouncing, just back it off just a touch. Nice and relaxed in your hands. And back to 90. You can feel the legs coming to life. It's a lower cadence work coming our way. Gonna make them feel a little heavy. 100. Now you should be able to solidly hold these cadences. That's a game I play with myself. As high as you can go. Now on this last 30, pay attention to what cadence you're getting to. Try to hit that each time. You know what I like? Consistency. When you make your trainer art, that's what we want. Back to 90. 3 minutes down. 2 to go. Notice your breathing is probably going to start to come alive. And to 100. If you feel yourself getting really breathless right now, it's okay. Just the body's reaction to efforts. High as you can go. It knows when you start working out like this. Oh yeah, it's a workout. Let me show her I'm still alive. Now is when we start getting sloppy. Feel that core. Back to 90. Last minute. Be able to drop right into these cadences. And to 100. Stay controlled. "30 seconds at as high as you can go. Last 30 seconds with this great leg speed. Holding 110 solidly. 3, 2, 1. All right, nice easy gear. All right, I'm going to give you a good 2 minutes. So you're fully recovered. Take a drink. So what I want you to think about as you go through these next efforts is I want you to think about really, 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 it's going to be hard to do, lightening up your legs. So when we climb, we have a tendency to push into the pedals thinking that that's going to help us. It's actually counterintuitive. You need to keep your feet light, and you need to keep your legs pulling up in that same plane with that foot nice and flat. Pulling up doesn't mean toe down or heel down. That means a nice flat foot, not feeling the sole of your shoe under your foot, and allowing the leg to come up and over. So these efforts on the trainer can be a little rough in these lower cadences and heavier gears on the knees. If for some reason you start feeling these efforts in your knees, then I would just shift to an easier gear and do the same kind of effort. So keep that in mind. I don't want you to get injured on these trainer sessions either. So we're looking at a 6.5 minute effort. The first 30 seconds, you're going to be in your big ring 19, which is about 3 gears down from your largest cog in the back. You don't have to go there yet. Then you're going to do 80 cadence for 30, then 70 with a harder gear, then 60 cadence for 2 minutes, then 3 minutes at 50. So I'll give you the gears and walk you through it as we go. So I want you to start off with big ring. Go ahead and get there. Remember, 25 if you're at a 25, 23, 21, 19. We're looking for 30 seconds at an 80 cadence. Let's go. As I said, if you can't hit 80 at this gear, then shift up to one easier one. We're going to just keep shifting slowly down the cassette. Each shift, cadence is going to get a little slower. Effort's going to get a little longer. One shift, 70 cadence for 1 minute. Now, here's the other part. I want you to feel your hips turning under you. So if you sit up and you allow your hips to drop right into your saddle, and you put your hands down, you should be able to feel this and have your hips be in the right place. We want to use the glutes, the hamstrings, and believe it or not, your calf muscles come into this. Especially if you're keeping your feet flat and getting up the pedal stroke. One more shift. 60 cadence. Now it gets a little harder. Climbing up to the top of that hill. We're going to stay here for 2 minutes. Same thing with your hands. I don't want you death gripping the bars. I don't want you leaning forward, because what does that do? It just cuts off your glutes and it stretches out your hamstrings. So your posture should stay tall with your hands super light, elbows bent, core engaged. One minute down here. Feel yourself stay within your limits. Visualize that climb. So when we shift to this next gear, the top is going to be 3 minutes away. So think about whatever is that favorite climb of yours in your local neighborhood, on a course you've done somewhere, up in Harriman, where they have some great climbing. All right, last one, 3 minutes. Another harder gear, 50 cadence. It's okay for your leg speed to be slow. Look down at your knees. Make sure they're tracking. They're not out. Your knees should not be pointing out. Your knees are pointing out. Your bike fit is really wrong. Your seat might be too close. Your seat might be too low. Your cleat position might be off. Now I want you to really think about here too. Since your leg speed is slow, I want you to make sure you're pedaling evenly. So just listen to your bike. Is it a solid sound? If it's not, you may be pushing more with your dominant leg, which we all have a tendency to do. All right, we're a little past halfway. 3 minutes total. Keeping those hands relaxed, elbows bent. One more minute. And again, just like the warm-up, try to hold these cadences as solid as possible. Now, you might feel, as you start climbing, that you need another easier gear. If you can stick where you are till the end, that's going to help you develop this climbing strength. 20 seconds to go. Keep it together. Solid effort. 3, 2, 1. Nice. Small ring. Easy gear. Spin it out. So now you guys all know Why, if you did that for a 25-mile ride and you pushed a 50 cadence for the entire time, you think you can make it to the end? The legs might give out. I've said it before, the heart will continue to pump. The muscles, not so much. So you want to make sure that you're preserving the muscles so that they can last for the duration of the ride. That's the biggest thing, is you got to be able to, you can do stuff like this in the winter. You can do stuff like this for a session outside on a Wednesday. But if you go on a group ride on a weekend, you want to kind of refrain from pushing these big gears because it'll be tough to stay with the group. All right, the next one. So we're going to do 4, I think it's 4. Yes, 4 efforts like this. Each one will be kind of similar, but slightly different. So the next one, it's going to look exactly like the last one, but the difference is you're doing it in reverse. It's 3 minutes at 50. Then you're going to get easier with each gear shift, and your cadence is going to get a little higher. So this one might be steep at the bottom and get a little easier as you climb. So go ahead and find your big ring. Down to around your 15, 14, maybe 13. If you remember where you were for the last one. 50 cadence. And we're looking for solid 3 minutes. Now that wasn't a ton of rest. It was only 2 minutes. Try to fall right back in. Shake it all out. Start from the beginning. Have your hips in the right place. Get your arms onto the bars. Feel them be light. Bend that elbow. Feel your core engaged. As soon as you engage that core, those glutes can work. It's really cool how if you don't use your core and you start to slouch and your back gets rounded, your head goes down, it feels really hard. Whereas when you sit up, get yourself tall in your torso, that whole thing of look at the ceiling actually works. If you look at the ceiling, it forces you to open your chest up and keep your legs moving. I know I mentioned him before. He used to be a racer named Tommy Voeckler. And every time he climbed, he used to look up at the sky. And I was like, that's it, Tommy. Exactly. He was a premier climber. And again, you feel one leg kind of like flicking as you move your pedals over. That might mean that pedal is becoming the dominant pedal stroke. 2 minutes down. 1 more minute in this gear. Then we're going to shift to a gear where you're holding 60. If you need a drink at any point during this effort, don't hesitate to take a drink. Good practice. You might need to take a drink on a climb. If that's the case, know that your bike is set up properly. You can actually get your water bottle out of the cage without having to stop your legs. One easier gear. Right to 60. Bring up the cadence. Allow yourself to find 60. Don't shift too quickly. To an easier gear, I mean. Sometimes we make that shift. Takes the body a couple of pedal strokes to get to the right cadence. 2 minutes here. You're working with power. Pay attention to where your power is for each of these gear shifts. That can help you when you get outside to know what power levels you can climb at. And again, if you're feeling this in your knees in a bad way, a little easier gear is okay. "30 seconds till we shift." So I was watching the women's Tour Down Under, which is a 3-day stage race since it's summer over there. And on the last day, easier gear, 1 minute, 70 cadence. And the last day was a climb. And they got to the top, and it ended up being one racer from EF Education and 3 racers from UAE. So of course, the strategy started on the descent, which ultimately flattened out for probably the last kilometer or so. So what did UAE do? They thought, oh, we got this girl. We're going to just keep attacking her, each one of us. One more shift to 80, 30 seconds. Hold that cadence solid. Coming near the top. Stick with it. 3, 2, 1. Small ring. Easy gear. 2 minutes easy. Take a drink. So these UAE women start attacking. 1. And Naomi Rugg was the EF Education racer. Every time somebody would attack, she would just get on their wheel with maybe a little gap. When she caught that person, then the next racer from the back would go. They must have done this for 2 kilometers. Comes down to the 1K mark, which is always the mark of decisiveness when the decisions get made. Who's going to do what? And UAE had a very veteran racer in that group, Mavi Garcia. And she had 2 youngins with her. And she was trying to tell these young racers what to do from a strategic standpoint. What she wanted to have happen was she wanted to get in the front, drive it for the last 500 meters. Naomi Rugg would be on her wheel, and her sprinter would be on Rugg's wheel to come out from the back and head to the line. Well, unfortunately, that young racer didn't get it, and she started sprinting too soon. Rugg just jumped on her wheel and won by like 6 bike lengths because all they did was wear themselves out. All right, so let's get to the next one. The next one's going to be really different. We're going to stand for the first 15 seconds. We're going to hold the 80 cadence. And again, the time's going to go 30, 1, 2, 3. For each start of each segment, we're going to stand for a duration. So again, get to your big ring. Get to that 19. So probably 3 gears down. Know that this first 15 seconds is not going to feel good when you stand. Why? Because you don't have enough resistance under your feet. So 15 seconds standing. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. In your hoods, hips straight over your ankles. Feel that saddle right between your legs. Feel your arms on your bars. Nice and light. Sit back down. Hold that 80 cadence. When I call it, you're going to shift to one harder gear. We're going to do 30 seconds standing. One harder gear, 30 seconds standing. This is a 1-minute effort. 30 seconds standing, 30 seconds seated. See if you can hold that cadence of 70. Try not to have your chest over your bars. Sitting down, hold the 70. "30 seconds. Now you might get a little breathless on this one. Why? Because you're standing up. By standing up, you have to work a little harder. Okay, one more shift. Harder, 45 up. Total of 2 minutes. Cadence around 60. Find yourself with a solid cadence. Remember, you're not pushing into the pedals. Think about light legs. Sitting down, staying in that cadence. We're going to go a total of 2. 1 more minute to go. The last one's going to be the hardest one. Pay attention to where you go on this gear, because we're going to use it for the next one. Body's probably sweating by now. 30 seconds. When I call it, you're going to shift to one harder gear, and we're going to stand up for 1 minute. Almost there. 3, 2, 1 minute up. Really try to relax your upper body. Find yourself almost pushing your shoulders down and your elbows bent and light. Be in your hoods. Make it harder on yourself and put your hands on the deck. You need a little bit of space. Plus, it opens your chest up. Ten more seconds and you get to sit. 3, 2, 2 minutes here. Low cadence. Somewhere around 50. The glutes might be talking. Don't be surprised. Tomorrow you feel those glutes. Woo, we're working right through this. Great job, everybody. So that race, because Naomi won that, she ended up winning the whole GC. And she hadn't won any stage prior to that. She was in contention, but it was all about strategy. 3 against 1 and 1-1. That's pretty incredible. EF Education, they're coming around as a women's team. One of their racers is wearing the World Championship colors, which she won at the last race of the season last year. And she was actually on the front pulling up the hill for Naomi. Almost there, don't quit yet. 5, 3, 2, 1. Small ring. Easy gear. Woo! Take a drink. Well deserved. Page 2. I'm sure you can guess what page 2 is going to be. Now, this one I am making harder. So instead of standing at the beginning, you're going to stand at the end of each effort. So the legs are going to be a little fatigued from the effort itself, but from those 3 previous sets. So as you know, the slogan is, this is when it counts. Really applies to right now. So enjoy this last minute of rest before we get to the last effort. 6.5 minutes. That's all you have left. And then we'll spin it out, call it a night. So keep your mind in the right place. Be ready to climb a really solid 6.5 minute effort. So if you enjoy watching bike racing, the tour down under is, I believe, on Peacock if you have it. The men's race started yesterday, but I think you can still get coverage of the women's races if you choose to do that. All right, so we're going to start with 3 minutes, 2 of it seated, last minute standing, big ring around that 13 or so. Go ahead and go there. You're looking at about a 50 cadence. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Working hard. Now, I want you to also think right now, what do we do now? What happens now? We're tired. Our shoulders start to go up. Bring those shoulders down. The other thing we start to do is scrunch up our face. Start to have that ugly face. Allow yourself to shake that out. Your face is relaxed, and the rest of you will be relaxed. Upper body relaxed. Fingers able to wiggle. Shoulders relaxed. Find your back. If you have something, a mirror, a window, anything around you where you can check your back, nice flat back. Nobody's rounding their back or leaning down on their top tube. Settle into this. Climbing is a mindset. When we climbed the Zoncolan, which was crazy, ridiculous pitches of 16+%, it became like a religious experience. Just trying to get calm and relaxed. And it was pretty cool, actually, when you were able to get there. All right, we're coming up on our minute of standing. You're going to stay in the gear, in the hoods. Find your relax and up. Don't fight it. Feel strong. Tell yourself you got this. You got enough resistance under your feet to allow you to stand for this amount of time. "30 seconds to go. And you get to sit for 1:15 in an easier gear. And legs are burning, but that's all right. 3, 2, 1. Sit back down. One easier gear. Minute and 15 seated. Your mouth should be slightly open. You're not breathing in or out by pushing it. You're just letting it naturally happen. We're all going to have to go outside and do a snow angel in the snow after this. It's our cold plunge. All right, get ready to stand. We got 5, 3, 2, 1. Stand it up. 45. Everybody looking solid. I like it. After this one, you only have 1:30 left. Three, two, one. Sitting down. One easier gear. 30 seconds. See if you can hit 70. Work it now. Earn your pay later. Stay focused. And up for 30. Let's go. Keep that cadence high. When you sit down, one easier gear. We only have 30 seconds left. Sit. One easier gear. Nice cadence you can hold. Come on now. And up for the last 15. Oh, this is when it's gonna hurt bad. It's gonna pay dividends now. 3, 2, 1. Nice. Small ring. Woo. Easy gear. We're gonna spin it out. Take a drink. All right, we'll give ourselves 2 minutes to spin. And then we'll do some fast legs like we did at the beginning, but just a little more modified. So it's more of a cool down than it is a warm up. So you can see how those kinds of efforts help you build that stamina to make it from the bottom to the top of a climb. So I've been reading some articles about Tadej Pogačar, who is now just turned into this, not that he wasn't already, this phenom climber, and what he's done in his training to help him. If you've watched any races from last year, he will be seated on a 12% grade, and he will just annihilate people seated, just going off the front. And he gets gaps that nobody can close. So what he's been doing is a lot of strength work on the bike with hard gears seated up a climb. So those are good exercises to do. On the trainer, it's harder because you can't simulate. You can with gearing, but to go outside at the beginning of the season and slowly start to work into that. Don't try to do all-out efforts right when you first start riding outside. You have to do everything gradually. And you got to monitor it for yourself. Maybe go out and do like 3 efforts. And that's it. But keep it to a level that you're not going to hurt yourself. Because low cadence work is really hard on the muscles. You can pull a muscle, strain a muscle by doing that. All right, take another drink. You should be close to the end of your water at this point. We're just going to spin these out. Now, you know I've done these in the past. I want you to pedal without feeling your legs actually spinning. So I want you to give yourself 1 or 2 harder gears. Let's go 2. And I want you to spin just where you're feeling that your muscles are not engaging. Super light with everything. Feet are so light that your feet are actually wiggling around in your shoes. And that's another thing. If your shoes are tied or buckled too tight, then it can actually cause pain in your feet, pain in your ankles and in your shins. If your shoes are fit properly, you should be able to just have them be at a level of tightness that isn't affecting how your feet and legs feel. So just keep it nice and light. We're going to shift up to an easier gear in 1 more minute. Feel yourself start to relax that upper body too. Same with your face. Get everything just at a level of comfort. And I don't want you to even worry about what the cadence is. This is just to cool it down. Feel your heart rate starting to come down a little bit. That's also part of the relaxation part of this. This is kind of like a yoga spin down. All right, go ahead and shift up to 1 easier gear. Now it's going to feel easier. And again, allow yourself to just feel light. Just enough to keep the legs spinning and recovering. Feeling the sweat starting to slow down, maybe even stop, which is a good thing. And as I've said before, your sweat rate, you need to figure that out. If you got a huge puddle underneath you, man, you better get drinking before you get on the trainer, drinking while you're on the trainer, getting in that good recovery after you get off the trainer. And this kind of workout does require a good recovery because you've stretched those muscles out and forced them to work a little harder than they may want to. All right, let's give me 1 more easier gear. You should be at the top of your set. You should not be bouncing. You should still be feeling super light here. Just slow your leg speed down slightly. If you feel like your legs are starting to get a little too much excitement in them. So I'm super happy. 3 weeks in, we've got good 3 solid weeks of participation. I appreciate it. I'm glad that you're here and willing to join me on Wednesday nights. I definitely look forward to this every week. It's fun to come up with the workouts. And yes, I do try to make new ones along the way. Maybe pull out one from the history books that we haven't done in a while. But for the most part, they're all new and improved, keeping you and getting you ready for the season to come. All right, just a couple of more minutes and we'll call it a night. Take a drink of that last water you got in there. If you don't have any drink mix in your drink, you may want to consider that. A little bit of extra sodium, potassium, magnesium, calcium, and some electrolytes. Do the body good. Help you to actually ward off those cramps or any kinds of muscle fatigue that you might have happening. All right. Slow down your cadence. And we're going to call it a night. Great job, everybody. Good one. Save that. As always, you guys do an amazing job.